Yo, 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 I hope you're enjoying your ride. It's time
for the Drive for Five
podcast. Let's go. Yo, 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 we are back, man. The Drive for Five podcast. We are here. We're ready to talk.
We here, man. Let's go, man. I got a lot to say.
Yeah, it's been a little minute, man, but we are back, man. We're ready to talk some more football, man. There's lots going on again. You know, we're in season here at Peachtree Ridge, Colorado.
First week of college football period, man. Like, it's got to be talked about.
It was an epic weekend, man.
From the UMass turning their program around to Colorado turning their program around to Clemson looking like Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, is getting into a dogfight with Hawaii. Like a lot of stuff going on, man. I got a lot to say, man. Like hey, Chris, we need to talk about it.
Yes, sir. We're gonna talk about it, man. This is your boy, Coach Chris.
This your boy, Coach Miles.
And this is the Drive for Five podcast, man. So let's get right into it, man. Let's talk about some of the things that's been going on, man. Get some of this shit some stuff off your chest. First and foremost, man, Colorado, man. We talked about this on the last episode.
I know it.
Prime time. We talked about Colorado and how many wins they may have. I know I called 8. For those of you that don't know or didn't listen to the podcast, you can go check the reference. I called 8, and they started out pretty good, man.
I called 8, and I want to go ahead and say this. I'm gonna say this right now. One, everybody is changing their tune about Colorado right now because of how good the offense looked, and how good Shador looked, and how great of a player Travis Hunter was, right? And I'm changing my tune too.
You're changing your tune.
I'm changing my tune, man. I'm going from 8 wins. I'm going from 8 wins like I betted on to Pac-12 championship.
So what you saying? Are you giving
college football playoffs? That's what I'm saying.
9 or 10.
Man, I'm saying college football playoffs.
That's a big leap, man.
That's what I'm saying.
I would love to go there.
Guess what, man? I watch a lot of well-off media content.
Okay.
Right? I watch a lot of reach to people content.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I sit there and listen to Coach Prime talk to these kids every single day. They drop tape 3-4 times a day. Right? And there's one common thing that he always tell these kids, and he said it on Saturday at TCU. I believe. I feel like one of them. Like, hey, Coach, I believe.
That's good to know, man. I'm glad you believe, and I do too. But I still want to, I'm a realist. So when I'm watching the game, 45-42 is the dub they got. It was a back and forth barn burner. I do see that they have some holes, man. But they still got some holes.
It's some holes, but guess what? That's why we get it on film.
You're right. But here's my thing. Am I ready to say that this team is ready to knock off USC?
So I'm gonna say this
right now.
USC, yes. You want to know why?
Why you think?
I say this all the time. One of my biggest, because I coach an offense,
okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I love having an elite quarterback, an exclusive, elusive, elite receivers. Like I love that.
Okay.
Because I know what kind of stress it brings on the DBs.
Right.
Like, I know that. Right? So, but one thing that's been Lincoln Riley's Achilles heels, man, has always been defense.
Well, see, and that's my thing, right? I see the defensive issue, with USC. I just feel like Colorado had more of a defensive issue. You know what I mean? Like
Here's the thing. Here's the thing where a lot of people, again, I watch Big Dion, man. Right?
Okay.
I watch Big Dion, man.
Media.
Shout out to them, right? Because this is a lot of stuff that I'm getting my opinions from, and they have a lot of kids right now that's on the team that hasn't been cleared by the NCAA. Right? There's at least, I think, I want to say 12. I know for sure I counted 12. It could be more. But I know for sure I counted 12. There's at least 12 guys that are still waiting on their clearance from the NCAA. Just like your boy Tyler Brown, man. Shout out to Tyler Brown, man. Anytime you get a chance, you need to go ahead and vote and put your vote in to make sure that the NCAA check out his appeal. So I know he's trying to get his appeal changed, and I think that kid deserves it. When you talk about mental health, he finds a coach that is essential to his life. Becoming a man and the things that he's endured. I listened to the story. I listened to his mom. I watched the story. I listened to Joe Clapp.
Okay.
Like, that kid is going through mental issues, and he found a father figure in Prime.
Coach Prime, right.
Coach Prime. You know what I'm saying? Coach Prime leaves. Coach Prime brought him for a reason. That's one thing I've learned. Like, I don't know that man, but I do know that we have been to Jackson State. I got a chance to meet him. I got a chance to shake his hand. I got a chance to talk 5 minutes with him. And then I watch him all the time on Well Off Media. You know what I'm saying? So based off my little 5-minute interaction and all the content that I done sat here and watched him do, and then also, watching the guy over a lifetime of me playing football, like, I'll never forget that when I started playing football, I told them, hey, I want the Dion.
Yeah. Everybody
the Dion face mask.
Everybody wanted the Dion face mask.
I want the Dion face mask.
Everybody wanted number 21.
I didn't want 21, but I wanted the Dion face mask. I wanted his shoes, and I wanted that Dion face mask.
2-bar classic.
You know what I'm saying? That's a classic in every hood, every suburb. If you was playing football back then, you wanted a Dion, and you know exactly what a Dion is.
Yeah.
Right? So, I do know that, man, based off what he's done, he's a winner. He's got an elite quarterback. At the end of the day, if he did not have that quarterback, everybody's talking about the trenches. Yeah, that matters. And the next thing that you need is a quarterback. Right? So the continuity that they have on that offensive line, I think they have a combined of like 70 starts amongst the 5 of them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So they know what it takes. And you think that we're talking about trenches. All right, cool. But I have a son, and he's my prized possession. He's my everything, right? Mm-hmm. My youngest son, and he's a quarterback. And I know personally because I've done played numerous amount of years in the NFL. I done played Little League. I done played high school. I done played college. I know what it takes to be a quarterback. I know the punishment that they go through. Okay. Taking hits. Right? So why would I not get the best people around to make sure that he's protected?
To protect him, right. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? It's just, and you're going to do your due diligence to try to get the best as possible. This is a short amount of time that Dion's been here in Colorado, and having to really scour the earth, to find these top talents that's already on teams, and you got to kind of pry them away from the transfer portal. and you gotta kind of pick from what's left. You know what I mean? Instead of actually getting your own guys. Like next year, I feel a lot more confident.
But here's the thing:
Deion going to get his own guys.
I feel like these are his own guys.
Nah, I feel like a lot of them are, but
So,
it's the pick of the litter from what's remaining.
When did he get the job? When did he get the job?
January,
December.
Okay.
Right. So when he got the job, these kids are still playing football. They playing bowl games. They're playing all kinds of things. The first transfer portal has not opened yet.
Understood
Right?
that.
So when he came in, his first thing was, this is going to be the time where I have to get the kids that's already in the portal, right? The kids that I know that's jumping in the portal, and then I have to recruit as hard as hell and try to figure out how I can get the best high school kids I can possibly get in a month and a half.
Right. That's what I mean. You have a month and a half to get as many high school kids as you possibly can.
He has a 40-40-20 rule.
Well, even with you're still back against the wall. I gotta find these kids in a short amount of time.
I gotta find like-minded kids.
Yes, in a short amount of time, in order to prepare for.
What's the short amount of time?
He had about 2 months.
For high school.
This is my point. The pick of the litter.
So all those
the
high
transfer
school kids?
portal kids are kids that are. I'm not happy in my situation.
They don't have the same date as National Signing Day.
Exactly. Those are the high school kids.
Right. He's got the best of the best.
He got the best that he could get.
That he can get.
Which is not. This is part of my problem.
Well, he was recruiting the same kids that he was recruiting at Jackson.
Exactly.
Right. So now, guess what? All I'm doing is saying, "Hey, I'm at Colorado now."
Right, but it's still.
I got better facilities.
So let's.
I got more publicity for.
Let's put this in perspective, because I think that you make it sound easy. It ain't easy.
It ain't easy.
So
I don't think nothing needs to be easy.
So exactly. So my point is, I'm at Jackson State. I'm recruiting kids. Mm-hmm. I'm coming to HBCUs and reinstalling the culture and all the above. And then well, we found that out now. That's only because of his experience at HBCU. So now I go over to Colorado, and now I gotta sell you on going from Jackson, Mississippi to Colorado, where most kids never even crossed. Left their state lines.
Most kids never even thought about going to HBCU.
Well, you're correct, but some of these kids at that particular point, it's easier to sell. I'm 400 miles away from my mom and dad to Colorado in the snow. At that, when you were mostly recruiting Florida, Georgia kids, kids is playing out of their element. So why would I be so intrigued to go to this particular school just because Deion went? Like, it's a hard sell. So I gotta go here to here, and I gotta do this in 2 months, and I gotta pick of the litter of the transfer portals in order to put together a team for competitive play this year. Like, I think even Deion would tell you, like, he hasn't even done what he need to do yet. Next year is gonna be a year where he gets his own recruiting class, and he really has a chance to sell Colorado and what he can do. Yeah. So I feel like next year playoff team all well indeed, but this year, it's going to be tough. I still have the belief that college football is not poo-putt to where you could just come and put together some scraps and win a national championship. I still believe in Alabama.
Well, okay. So
I still believe in Ohio State.
Georgia's.
Cool.
Right. All right. So that brings me to my next question. Right? And I've been saving this. I've been thinking about this. Like, again, I'm a big Prime fan. Like, that shit ain't going on. It ain't going nowhere.
I don't believe it either. I think it's still stay.
So I seen that they were ranked in the top 25.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So my question is, and just being realistic, after one game, which for me, coming from a coaching perspective, like, I'm not that deep into, like, college because I never experienced it. So I'm not even going to sit here and say that I know. right? But I do know, as me having college coaches that are friends, we talk all the time, me being a high school coach, and I know how competitive that is, high school, right? So my question is like, them Colorado, when I say them, Colorado is going into this game where I felt like they had the advantage. And this is why I'm saying it. Right? Yeah, I gotta put together a new team. Right? That's different from, TCU having their already established team, already established culture, like just getting done with the national championship. So those kids are still hungry, like they want to prove that it's not a fluke, all these things. Right? But what a lot of people aren't talking about is the fact that TCU is coming into this thing where they had the same DC. Right? Majority of their defense has come back. So when Charles Kelly and Nick Williams and these guys are getting this job and they're saying, hey, we need to start goddamn studying for TCU. They got TCU's film. They watched the whole year of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They watched from the first game, week 1, all the way to the national championship. So, as a coach, would you rather come into a situation where you got one of the best offensive coordinators, offensive-minded guys, coming into it with some of the best and fastest athletes that he's ever had, the best quarterback that he's ever had, and I'm coming into this thing, or would I rather have my same guys with the same continuity and we're going to try to figure out their game plan throughout the game?
I personally would prefer the same guys in continuity. I think that it's a plus definitely when you don't know and you have to figure it out. That's a competitive advantage, obviously, for anybody. It's just like if we were to go against Collins Hill this year and they had a whole new staff. It's like you don't know who's going to show up, but you got to go out there and play the game. They'll know us because they got film on us, but I still think we'll win that game. And I think based on the fact that we have built continuity, we have built some sort of chemistry with how we're playing. We do know what we're gonna do to a T, and we've practiced it. We've repped it. It's the standard, all the above. So you have an idea of what you're going against. Now, granted, you go against some guys who in this particular situation just turned out to be elite athletes and playmakers. I think in a couple of those plays, like if this was any other team that they were playing, and Travis Hunter doesn't, that corner doesn't make that pick on that running back wheel route, if that's not Travis Hunter, you know what I mean? So it's like it's just the perfect storm for Colorado at this particular point. You don't have you have TCU coming in and I think they lost the OC. Am I correct? Or
they lost the OC. He
lost
the
OC.
He's at Clemson.
They brought
in Kendall Browse,
right.
Which I'm too also a fan of.
They bring in a lot of transfers as well. You know what I mean? So it's it's a lot they're working through, and the
offense wasn't a struggle though.
No, the offense definitely wasn't a struggle.
Right. It was the defense, which we had returning guys, returning DC.
Right, but I also think Colorado's defense has struggled, even though they
definitely struggled.
Right. So what I'm saying is, what would I prefer? I would prefer the continuity. In that situation, I think the athletes and the playmakers just overran any type of thing that was right.
So you really just answered my question. Right? You answered my thoughts because one, who was the star of the show completely as a whole of the game? The offense. Right? The offense on TCU side, they took advantage of the kids not knowing what they were going to do. Right?
Well, let's think about this.
Hold on real quick. So, TCU offense took advantage of Colorado's defense, of them not knowing what they were going to do. New coach, right? New scheme, right? So, what does Colorado defense have to do? Colorado defense has to go back and watch Charles Kelly from Florida State, all the times when he was at DC. Mm-hmm. Then they had to try to figure out, okay, what does Alabama do good that he's going to implement over here? Okay. Right? So then, offensively for Colorado, same defense. They ain't getting out of that 3-3 step. These are the guys. Right? So Colorado's offense took advantage of the things that they seen on film from the guy that they had.
I want to say that, but here's the thing, right? Let's look at this a little deeper. Colorado had, 2 picks?
2 picks.
2 interceptions. Shedeur had none. And the game was 45.
When did those picks come?
45 on great plays made on the ball.
Great plays, but on what side of the field?
Colorado's defensively.
Right. Within the +10.
Okay.
Right. Which the field shrinks.
Okay.
So at that point,
what I'm saying is, real quick, that could have happened to anybody. That's because at the end of the day,
I don't think
Colorado don't knows what offense TCU's gonna run. They don't. So it's I can say it's all the way a competitive advantage that way. What happened was playmakers made elite plays when it counted. And if they don't make those plays, TCU wins this game.
And vice versa.
So it's not. I don't think that was the biggest competitive advantage, because anybody could have came over and took it down Colorado, and TCU wouldn't have known what they were going to run, and they still could have blew them out. It's the playmakers on the other side. Shedeur did not throw an interception, which is very, very hard when you throw the ball every time.
I think Shedeur's worst throw was on the 3rd and 16.
When you threw it to Travis Hunter and just
No. I think his worst passing play took place where TCU almost picked it off. He was rolling out. He tried to throw it to number 87. TCU undercut it, kind of batted it away. The next play, he threw it to Travis Hunter.
Okay, I got
right?
you. Okay.
So, or was it? It was either Travis Hunter or Jimmy Horn. It was one of those. Jimmy made some big plays when it counted. But you can tell that the offense had a lot of continuity. You know, they spent a lot of time together with the receivers and the quarterbacks. Like, he knew exactly how to throw to those guys. If you watch him, he knew the exact ball. He threw the exact ball. That's why these scouts are raving about him now, because not only was his poise, but he knew when to zip it. He knew when to float it. He knew when to put touch on it. He knew when to make sure he's pinpoint accurate. Like, he knew the exact ball to throw when it was time to throw it.
I agree. And
even to Dylan Edwards.
Of course. I think that was the big part, right? The back out of the backfield being involved in the pass game was immaculate for Colorado. It's something I don't think that TCU was really prepared for. Mm-hmm. They took advantage of their running back and linebackers. They just took advantage of that, and they made TCU pay for whatever they gave up, because you got to give up something on defense, and Colorado did a great job of just taking advantage of everything they gave up. If you're going to back off the safeties and you're going to play soft, we're going to dink and dunk you. If you're going to play up and try to press, I'm going to give a deep ball to Travis Hunter. It was just like they just took advantage of everything that they could that TCU was going to give them. And it was a great game plan, and it was capped off, which means that what I'm saying is it was won by the playmakers. Like, that was an even game. Even teams playing against each other, but the playmakers made great plays. The TCU didn't have a corner that was going to jump that wheel route and make that pick.
You want to know how I know? Because they ran the same play on Travis Hunter pick and Colorado's first touchdown. It was the same exact play on both sides of the ball. Both of them was in. Colorado was in man. TCU was in man. Both offenses ran mess with the rail route with the running back. Both quarterbacks threw the rail route. One got picked, one turned into a touchdown.
And let me right into what I have a question about. Does the ability to freestyle playing for Dion make for a better team, or does a culture of a standard of how it's do everything the right way make for a better team, chemistry wise, especially or in college football, I should say? Because Dion, when I say freestyle, I mean like I watch Well Off Media as well, right? And certain times, like say, we're driving on the bus and people got headphones on, and it's like a quiet, focused bus ride. Or, with Dion and them, they're rapping and freestyling, you know what I mean? They're having a good time. And it translates to the game. Like, with Travis Hunter, you're a man, and you go off of your man to jump a route, which could have easily been a disaster if that quarterback, pump fakes and he jumps off and throws it. That could have easily been a disaster. You jumped off your man to make a play because your coach trusts you to make those impromptu plays. He trusted you to do that. In reference to TCU, if I tell you to run a rail, run a rail.
Right.
Don't break off your route. I told you to run this. This is what you were supposed to run. Don't do your own thing because you seen that the corner was playing outside and the middle linebacker was screaming down hard, blitzing, gave you an equal crossing route, and you just took it. Like, don't do anything off prompt to make a play. Just do your job. So what do you think is the best way? I guess coaching style. Is it the standard? Is the standard?
I don't think. Me personally, man, I don't think there's a right or a wrong way to have a coaching style. You are who you are, right? The biggest thing is being able to, one, get the kids to be disciplined, and two, getting the kids to believe in everything that you're telling them. Right?
Right.
So, regardless of how you do it, just get it done.
Okay. I agree.
Okay?
I agree.
So, if my kids are going to sit on this bus and they're going to freestyle, da-da-da-da, cool, you know what? Do that. If that's what's going to make you play and be the disciplined kid that I want you to be, go ahead. Right? But what you're not going to do is you're not going to BS around and then come out and play, bad.
So you'll give them a shot, but if they blow
you got to.
You got to change direction.
You got to. Listen, man, football is football. This ain't the military. If I wanted to be in the military, I'm gonna sign up for it. Football is meant to be fun, right? So we get into these things where all these unwritten rules come into play to where we feel like we have to do it this way. No, I'm gonna do it the way I want to do it. And I'm going to show you that I can do it any other way than anybody else can, which that's Dion. So, also to like double back on that, man, like those kids, they're used to the camera at this point. Mm. They're used to the camera, all that. But I'm going to tell you something else too. Yes, that was a hell of a play by Travis Hunter. That was super high IQ, all that. But if you really go back and watch the film and you really understand what's going on, yes, they were in man, but To every scheme, there are rules.
Agreed.
To every scheme, there are rules. Yeah, man is man, rules are rules to this man coverage. Right? And I really didn't pay attention to it until I was watching. I'm watching all this this YouTube stuff. And I think I came across Aiko, the linebacker.
Yep.
Alright, so he broke some stuff down, and it made so much sense. Especially on that particular, he broke down the interception with Travis Hunter. He broke down the fade route, and then he broke down the 3rd and 16, 4th and 16 catch that he made. Mm-hmm. All three, Travis Hunter making an impact in all three ways, right? Mm-hmm. So the fade route got him a first down. Yeah, he caught the ball. It gave them momentum. He didn't get the touchdown. Gave him momentum. Caught the ball. Next play, touchdown. Right? The second one was the interception. So they ran the mesh with the rail. Right? He understood that if this guy goes in, if both go in, then the linebacker is going to take the first guy in, which is the number 2. The apex guy is going to take the second guy in, which is the number 1. Now it turns into the corner being responsible for anything in the flats or the running back. So what took place was Travis Hunter eyeing the eyes of the quarterback, trailing number 1 to see the running back running a rail, sees the quarterback eyes immediately go that way, and he was able to quickly, this is what makes him so special. Because he's doing what he's taught to do, but he's doing it at an elite level, which makes him so special. So everybody's talking about Travis Hunter, but the way he's doing it is what makes him elite. So he shuffled, whatever he did, bumped, seen the eyes of the quarterback, jumped the rail route, and actually took the ball out of that guy's hands.
I seen it.
Right? So any other person, that play gets ran 110 times, and I guarantee you, the running back catches it 100 times.
Well, see, and that's where I'm getting at. Like, here's one.
I think Colorado was well coached.
If they weren't in man, if they were in man, he can't pass it off. Like, unless
yes, you can.
Not unless you're eye knowing it, and then if you ain't eye knowing it, you ain't switching. The only time you're switching is if they're crossing each other. At this particular point, they weren't crossing each other. So unless they were playing buck 2, cover 2, something on that line, that's the only reason why he would be sitting in that
to every
on that
scheme,
flat.
There are rules.
Yes, to every scheme there are rules. But when you're a man, you're a man. Now, unless they were in zone, which means they're in quarters or cover 2.
I don't think they was in a zone. But
I
do know if you watch that Mike linebacker, he never even made an attempt to chase that running back.
Yeah, he could have quarterbacks by.
No, he didn't. If you go back and watch it.
But here's the thing.
His eyes immediately went to number 2.
Here's the thing. We don't know.
He apexed it.
We don't know.
And now,
we don't know. And the thing about it is that no matter what, like you just said, 9 times out of 10 that pass is completed. Mm-hmm. And that was just an elite play by a playmaker.
I think so.
Right? So if the difference wasn't that I couldn't scheme it up. The difference was I don't have a Travis Hunter. And that just goes back to my original thing where I'm thinking like this was an even game. Whether they had a little bit of competitive advantage of not knowing who was going to line up and how they were going to run it, how we're going to play it, who's going to be who or what. But this was an even matchup. TCU just didn't have a Travis Hunter. They just didn't have a Shedeur Sanders. They just didn't have that guy who was not going to make those mistakes. And at that particular point, you got guys that's going to make these plays where other guys just won't make the play. It's just a typical play in most standards. Even if that was a zone and somebody was sitting right there, 9 times out of 10, they knock it out, or it's an incomplete pass, or whatever case may be. But to make a pick at a crucial point in the game,
after they just went 90 yards, 95 yards.
And to end that with a pick, man, and change the course of the game, that's the eliteness that I'm talking about in reference to the athletes that Colorado displayed compared to TCU. Now, here's my fear. As we get down the schedule, you're going to have other teams with playmakers as well. And it's not like TCU has some playmakers, but they ain't have the playmakers that Colorado had. And I think teams like the USCs and maybe Utahs, they got a couple of playmakers that's going to give Colorado a run. And it's not going to be able to, they're not going to be able to just walk through the whole season. Like, I got them going 8 games, 9 games, you know what I'm saying?
I got them winning the Pac-12.
You got them winning the Pac-12.
Yeah. And I
just don't know if that's, even if they win the Pac-12, you got them going to the playoffs.
I got them going to the playoffs. Prime, get us to the playoffs.
Playoffs. That's
Big Dion.
That's
if you listen to this, get us to the playoffs.
That's a big ask.
Hey, man, make sure you keep these receipts.
Yeah, keep the receipts.
Keep this receipt.
Keep the receipts. You got them going to the playoffs.
Because one thing I was just sitting there listening to Prime, Coach Prime. He talked about the little engine that could. And he brought it up, and he understands that this is the route that he's taking, and this is how I'm going to get my kids to believe. And I think TCU was a big test to his kids feeling like we can beat anybody out of TCU. And I feel like they can.
I agree. They're going to be a very
I think their
team.
biggest game, their toughest game, like they're going to get into some tough games. But I think their biggest game all season will be against Utah.
Interesting. So you think it's just going to be they're going to waltz right over USC?
I don't think they're going to walk over anybody.
But why do you think Utah will be their toughest opponent?
Because Utah is a well-rounded, well-athletic, well-coached team. One thing I do know about USC, they're going to be explosive on offense and they're going to be terrible on defense. I do know that Oregon, Bo Nix is going to throw picks.
Bo Nix throws picks.
I do know that their defense is not Georgia, and I know Buddy out there at Oregon. He's a defense guy. He's bringing in these guys, run his defense, this and that. That's cool, man. He's still in the Pac-12. Like you're going against elite receivers every week. It ain't happening.
I got one more question for you, real quick. If
Washington
they go to the playoffs, do they get a win? Can you see them beating a ACC, SEC team, Big Ten team this year with the team constructed as so?
If they play Florida State, they beat Florida State.
Ah, my God. I don't know about that one.
If they
Florida State is a lot.
If they play Florida State, I guarantee you Coach Prime will not lose that game.
I would give you Michigan.
If they play Michigan, that will be to me that's gonna be a toss up. You wanna know why? Because Michigan they got trenches.
They got trenches. They're a well-coached team as well.
They're a well-coached team.
But
so is Florida State.
Florida State is a very well-coached team, and they got more athletes than a Michigan will have. So when you say that,
I don't think they're running. Listen, man. To beat Colorado, you got to be able to run the ball.
Well, shit. TCU was able to run the ball. They still didn't get the dub.
You
got to not make mistakes. To beat Colorado, you got to not make mistakes.
You know what? Florida State is gonna make mistakes. Yes.
I don't know, man. That's
pull up a team Noval's ever coached as a head coach. Pull up and figure out what that penalty percentage look like. So whoever's listening to this, pull that up, and you let me know how well disciplined a Mike Norvell's team is.
I could take that, but I don't know about Colorado beating them first year out. I see that happening.
Because one thing Prime ain't gonna do, he ain't losing Florida State.
Nah, I agree with that too. I think he definitely has some pride when it comes to that.
And I'm saying Coach Prime, he's not the one that's playing. But here's what a lot of us are not talking about. And it's the way that he goes and structures his schedules when it comes to his football team. The way that they practice, the way things are scheduled, the things that they eat. Magic Mo is the man. Magic Mo is the man. And he sat there and listened to Sonny Dykes talk so bad about their sports performance, and Magic Mo is looking like, well, what did you... Everybody's trying to figure out what Magic Mo is doing to make sure that those kids were so conditioned. Because when you looked at their sideline, I couldn't tell not one guy that looked over there and it looked like they was tired.
Nah, yeah, I agree. They all look like they were.
So I'm going to say all that. Magic Mo, whatever he got, he's the man. He should get a lot of credit for what's happening. Because guess what? He's the one that spent the most time with these kids over the summer. He's the one that's got them disciplined. It ain't Coach Prime. Coach Prime, he has certain rules and this and that. But that discipline part has to go to that strength and conditioning team. Yeah. Because they spent the most time with these kids.
Yeah.
While these coaches was on the road, or they was spending time with their families, that strength and conditioning team and them trainers sat right there with them. If anything happened, then they will report that to Coach Prime and he would take care of it.
I agree. If you want to have a winning organization, you gotta have an elite strength and conditioning.
And guess what? He got that.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
So it's just that, man. But yeah, I got them winning, and this and that, man. I do want to bring this up. I did not like the way Clemson looked last night.
I didn't like the way Clemson looked last night either.
On both sides of the ball.
Yeah, it looked like they were that they're starting to decline in the level of talent that they're getting. It's just not the same Clemson teams of old.
They missing Tony Elliott, man.
Yeah.
They missing the elite receivers. They missing elite running backs. They missing elite quarterbacks. Like,
it's interesting in the age of NIL how many of the teams of the old, are starting to, look so I don't know how to even say this.
They can't. I mean,
they're
it's
not
harder
the same
to compete
and dominate as they used to.
That's the same with Florida right now, man.
Florida,
I'm pissed off about how that offense looked last week against Utah.
Yeah, it's
and I know for a fact, I know Billy Napier, man. I get the things that you got going on over there and the way that you're trying to build this thing up, but are they giving him the same treatment that they gave Norvell at Florida State, where they're gonna give him 4 or 5 years to like get his guys in and build what he's trying to build? And because I know for a fact that he's building through high school.
Well, it's a way to work. I mean, Florida State, as you can see, that they're ranked number 4 right now in the nation. Norvell was able to get his guys, even though it was rough in the beginning, especially with Dion taking 2 of his top recruits. And he's still able to muster up a team that's competitive enough to be ranked 4 in the nation right now after a couple of years of building that team up. So I think he's doing a great job, and I think if you are Florida, you want to give Napier the same chance to do the same. I mean, obviously you want to see it happen quicker than later, but it is something that you want to let the process play itself out.
He didn't take over no losing program.
I mean,
Dan Mullen didn't have no losing.
Dan Mullen didn't have a losing program.
They
just weren't the same Florida teams of old that was competing for SEC championships. Like they are that team.
But he got there, and he lost. And if it wasn't for Marco Wilson throwing the shoe, that next season they would have never went downhill the way it went downhill.
Yeah, well, college football, man. Yeah, college football is one of those things, man. It's anybody can pull out. The basic teams is always going to be there, like the Alabamas and the LSU's and things of that nature, man. But as you can see, man, the down year for one team can usually mean a great year for another, and you never know how that's all going to turn out, man. At the end of the day. This has been a great little episode, man. We wanted to talk about Prime, man, and the new situation he got going on over there at Colorado after they pulled off the upset of TCU, the 17th ranked team. They're now ranked the 22nd team in the nation.
That was a dominant performance.
Shedeur Sanders 5 touchdowns, over 500 yards passing.
When you got an elite quarterback like that, man, Pac-12.
Pac-12 looked like he could possibly be his. He's going to have to, compete against some other teams, though. We're going to have to see how he does against Nebraska this week, and see if they can pull off another W and surprise the world again. And after this W, though, man, I don't think that people are going to start to realize that what
Pac-12 championship, man. Watch us.
We'll see, man. But this has been a great episode here at Drop 5 Podcast, man. We have fun as always. We got more and more coming out. We got to talk about the Ridge coming up soon. We 3-0. Going towards 4-0 versus Widenboro this week. Hopefully we can give y'all an episode soon, man, to help y'all understand what's going on with the Ridge. But all in all, man, we love you. Drop 5 Podcast. We out.
Appreciate you. We out.